Good morning, everybody. Happy Children's Day. My name is Richa, and I work with UNESCO Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Education for Peace and Sustainable Development, New Delhi. And today I'm here with all of you to share the little I have learned in life and have been practicing through my training and through my experience with the Institute, and also to learn more from you guys. So, of course, there has been many interactive and very, insightful panels since morning. Okay, that's a good start. So, yeah, so now I would like to invite you to shake legs with me if needed at any stage of this workshop, and also to be a little more interactive and ready to answer if I have any questions for you. So all set? Are you all with me? Thank you. Okay. Downstairs next. Okay. Thanks. Okay. So before we will start the session, I would also like to introduce my institute to you because I don't know if many of you are aware what we do and where we are and what we are. So UNESCO MGIEP, as I said, is Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Education for Peace and Sustainable Development, and it was established in collaboration with Government of India. So we are UNESCO, but we are also Government of India. And this is the first Category 1 research institute, which is located in the Asia-Pacific region. There are such 7 research institutes of UNESCO across the globe. We are one of them. And we are focused on achieving Sustainable Development Goal 4.7, which is heading towards education to foster peaceful and sustainable societies. And in this approach, and through also, of course, many years of research and science and evidence, we have come up with the area which can actually help us navigate this goal and also reach us where we want to reach in terms of establishing peaceful and sustainable society. And this area is called social emotional learning, which we will dig deep later in the next slides. And yes, our vision is to, of course, build kinder brains, and our work is steeped in neuroscience. Okay, so before we start the actual session, one more thing. If your present mood were the weather, what would it be? So unfortunately, I don't know any names from the audience, so I may ask Abhay sir. Yeah, sunny. Madhu ma'am? You are also feeling sunny? You're cloudy. Okay, so you're basically relating with the outside weather. Okay, that's great. Anybody from the audience? Yeah, please. Oh, wow, that's amazing, lovely. Anybody else?
Maybe rainbow. Rainbow.
Cloudy. Okay, rainbow. Who is rainbow? Okay, but you're wearing yellow only, ma'am. Why are you not wearing something like rainbow? Anyways, okay, thank you so much for this. Okay, now, before we move to the next slide, can I ask you to move a little bit around with me? Is that okay with you guys? Yeah? Can you please follow me for next 2 minutes? Okay, now you have to follow my instructions. When I say, you have to do exactly what I say, right? So can you please stand up, if that's fine, and if somebody is not comfortable, they can keep sitting. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, so when I say move forward, you will move forward. When I say move back, of course you will step back. And then again, step right and step left. All okay? Yes? Okay. Step back. Step right. Step left. Step forward. Step forward. Step forward. Okay, wow. You're mentally here. Okay, now again, one more. Now you have to do exactly opposite to what I say. Opposite, okay? So when I say step back, you will step forward. Okay, step forward. Step back. Step back. Step left. Step right. It requires a little bit of thinking, am I right? Okay, that was fun. So this was just a very small example of social emotional learning. You may please sit down, take your seats. It was just a very small example of social emotional learning where we can actually check in with our students in the classrooms, be it youth or 5-year-old child, and bring them mentally in that learning space. Because before that, you don't know which mood they are in, right? What they have gone through since morning, right? What they have been feeling from the previous class. So just 2 minutes of check-in, and then actually you can bring them to you for learning the next thing, which is very important. Okay, so now, see, for this session, you will have to switch to 2 hats, right? Because now I'm a teacher, I'm a facilitator. I can't help it. You are the learner. So you are wearing learner's hat, okay? But at times, you will also switch to teacher's hat because you are teacher by heart. So what do you most want for your children when they grow up? What you want your children to achieve in life? Only one thing. You have to be very particular about that thing. Only one answer. Holistic. Okay, that's amazing because you're a teacher, of course. As a parent, happiness. Anybody else? Good human being. Same. Okay, anybody else? Anybody from the QS team? Good human being. Okay, that means that's very clear. We don't want them be a CEO of company or the prime minister first thing. First thing is that we want them to be happy. That happiness can come from anything, right? Yes? Okay. Now, so the best predictor of whether a child becomes a satisfied and happy adult is through their emotional health in childhood. This is not Richa, but it's saying this is said by the World Happiness Report, and which we all agree with. But unfortunate reality is that children are not being set up to thrive. And we all are aware of it, so I will not go through the details because our esteemed panelists have been talking about these details a lot, so we may not go into the details. But I just like to emphasize that less than 50% of youth are on track to attain the range of skills needed to thrive in school, work, and life. So this is said by Education Commission and UNICEF 2022. Now the question is, what are these skills which are needed to thrive in school, work, and life? So, what will make us thrive and happy? So, what does science and research says? Well, the science of happiness says that happiness is a combination of how satisfied you are with your life and how good you feel on a day-to-day basis. Am I right? Yes. So, it's a combination of emotional balance and life satisfaction. So can we just quickly do this activity? Can you please click on the link? I would also like to know how much you know about your own emotions. Is it happening? Okay, technology, it's okay. So should we move ahead until it opens? Okay, no problem. So it was basically to identify what emotions are, right? Are we defined by our emotions? If not, what defines us? And how can we navigate our emotions? So that we can find out in the next slides. This is not working again. Yeah. Okay, so now, since we know that science of happiness talks about 2 things, emotional balance, emotion, and life satisfaction. Now, why are we talking about these things when it comes to education, right? Science of happiness says something which we can create at an individual level or maybe in our home environment. How education can play, how learning is impacted by those emotions. So that is why education has to play a big role, because learning is social and emotional. Because we are talking about transforming education for fostering happiness in our societies. So that means that learning is dependent on education, and that area has to be mainstreamed in education so that students get that environment, get that learning space within the school environment also, not only in home environment. And why is it so? So neuroscience says we have one brain, but many parts. How many parts take control of our emotion, there is only one part, which is called limbic system. It is on the back side of our brain, okay? Which controls our emotions, stores our memory, basically everything which is related to feelings, emotions, and thoughts, okay? Now, the front part of the brain, which is called prefrontal cortex, is called thinking brain. Now, the irony is, these two parts, it's very difficult to make a balance between these two parts at times, right? So when one is activated, the other one gets deactivated. And there's nothing we can do about it. Let's accept it. This is our biology. This is neuroscience. This is how we have evolved. When we were like our ancestors or people who were evolving in forest, they used to consider every threat, physical, every threat, everything as a threat, and they will react accordingly. Our body will react accordingly. Today, when we are confronting social media in the form of hate speech, we are getting abused by our peer groups, we are getting harsh statements from our senior, that is taken as a threat by our mind. Mind cannot differentiate between the physical threat and emotional threat, right? So with that affects our reaction. So to make a balance, it is very important for us to strengthen that part of the brain which we want to make stronger, right? If we want to make our muscles strong in this area, we'll have to focus on this area. Same way, we'll have to focus on the part of the brain which we want to make strong. So same way, we have to make a balance. How we can do it? Good news is, the human brain is malleable. There was a notion a few years ago that human brain stops evolving, stops growing, or stops adapting after a certain age. But that's not true. It is 100% malleable. It can be changed. It can be trained to adapt and grow throughout life as we get older. This means we can keep developing positive mindset, empathy, compassion, happiness, even if we are not naturally inclined towards it, right? So this term is called neuroplasticity. We can actually change our brain neurons by practice, just like we change our muscles by practice, just like we change our other habits by practice. So the key tool is practicing the right tools and techniques for actually learning empathy, compassion, and happiness, which is very much possible. And that's why we are today standing here talking about Institute of Happiness, because we want to mainstream such competencies, such areas in our curriculum, and we want to give it to our students through education so they become happy. So yes, so understand that happiness is an emotion and all emotions come and go in life. So the whole idea is basically to create SEL space. Now how do we do it? So it has been very well established through research and evidence that wherever the social emotional learning skills has been integrated in the curriculum, the 57% more students in schools with an SEL program improve their skills in comparison to where the SEL program was not included. 27% more improved their academic performance, 24% more improved their emotional well-being, and both the science of happiness and social emotional learning emphasize that strong social emotions, connections contribute to greater happiness and control, improved health. Now, what is social emotional learning? Social and emotional. Anybody who can define in their own words? It is a combination of social and emotional. But what is it? I know you all know that. Yes, please, ma'am. Sense of belonging. Sense of belonging to who, ma'am? To our social group. So ultimately, you indirectly you agree that somehow our happiness, our emotions depends more on our social connections, because that's where we get sense of belonging, right? Anybody else? Relationship. Again, social. So basically, what we feel, what we decide, what we wear, what we speak, everything somehow is informed by our emotions, and those emotions are informed by our social connections, right? So this is nothing but social emotional learning is recognizing our emotions, not suppressing our emotions, right? Giving yourself permission to feel.
Is it adaptability to the circumstances?
Yes, sir?
Adaptability to the circumstances.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely, 100%. Once you're happy, once you're able to regulate your emotions, you can easily adapt, because you are able to make a balance between your thinking and survival brain. You are not in flight, fight, or freeze zone. You are in a balance zone. And I will come to that in my next slide. So give yourself permission to feel. I know I'm talking to very senior people here. How many have you got permission to feel from your parents or from yourself? We have always been conditioned to suppress our emotions. Oh, boys don't cry. Don't behave like a girl, right? We have been receiving these messages from our own parents because they were also receiving those messages from their own parents. And this is going on and on and on. And we are passing this to our generations. So the time is to break this, right? So giving yourself permission to feel. Don't suppress your emotion. It's okay not to feel okay. But it's not okay to always not feel okay. So please give attention to your emotions. Don't suppress. Acknowledge them. And practice the right tools and techniques to regulate them, okay? So just like your child come to you crying, and you're not paying attention, and he might leave, he might go away from you. But does that mean that he's okay? No. That 1 minute of acknowledgement was not given to that kid. Same way, we are not giving that 1 minute of acknowledgement to our own emotions, we are just running away from them. So same way we are teaching our children to run away from their emotions. So developing caring and concern for others, core of every human. This is again, not Richa and MGIEP saying, this is said by research, this is said by science, evidence, everything. And establish positive relationships with ourselves and others, as we were all saying that, make responsible decisions, adaptability, and handling challenging situations. Now, in general, like in a very simpler version, you can see direct connection between social emotional learning, science of happiness, building healthy relationship with self, of course. We cannot pour from an empty cup. Am I right? Mothers, how many times you cut apple for your own self when you are giving to your children? Yeah? We are taking care of yourself before you take care of your family. And it applies to, males also. They are taking care of their family too. So I'm not biased. Okay, so emotional self, taking care of your emotions, cultivating yourself, calming yourself, right? And then only you can build healthy relationship with others, and then you move to the meta systems, the processes, nature, climate, everything. So that starts with self. And this is what science of happiness also says, and this is also established by social emotional learning. So you see a direct connection between these two. Actually, if you look at the curriculum also talks about social emotional learning. So, and once we are doing that, we are able to produce happy learners, happy teachers. Relationships will create happy classrooms. Systems will create happy environments. Now the main question, how can we? So, this is our way of doing it. We have our framework of EMC square, and my time is 12:30, right? Until 12:30 I can go on, right? Yeah. Okay, so these are the 4 components, as you can see in the framework, EMC square. This is not Einstein's EMC square. This is MGIEP's EMC square, so don't confuse it with mass, energy, and It's empathy, compassion, mindfulness, and critical inquiry. So when Aishwarya was highlighting the significance of critical inquiry while navigating social media, and also deciding an age group where we need to ban the social media. So that is where the critical inquiry comes into the picture. So empathy also needs to be associated with critical inquiry. Compassion also needs to be connected with critical inquiry. You cannot just believe everything on media or maybe from a person and be compassionate or help them. You have to check the facts. You have to check everything. You have to do your research. So that critical inquiry component is the most essential component of this framework. And using this framework, we have developed many courses, many programs at our institute. And these are open to everybody. These are available to youth around the globe. And it's a public platform, free courses, everything, which you can explore later. So now, I would like to present one course, just to make the session more concrete. Yes, sir.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
While we are talking about, sort of molding or, as you said, the brain is still malleable at whatever age. So while we are trying to mold at a given session or within a enclosed environment, when he or she is in an institution, but what happens is that we as a human being or as a child, the whole society in which he or she is growing, that shapes the entire mindset or the emotional quotient of the child or the adult. And when the child is growing with the whole lot of biases, like the moment he is born, he's saying, "वो तिलक वाला पंडित है, टोपी वाला ये है,
बिल्कुल,
that," and
बिल्कुल.
all those things,
हाँ जी, yes.
So that those things are already deeply ingrained in him.
Yes.
And when we talk that in a classroom or in a session or in a capsule or whatever you call it, in a very limited time frame, you will be able to shake him off of those biases or that kind of upbringing in which he or she has had.
Yeah.
You are talking about changing the whole environment of that individual which he or she has lived till now.
True. True.
So is it so easy, or I mean,
Definitely not, sir.
It just defies the whole growth process,
No, I completely agree with you. It's definitely not easy because we are still facing challenges. This is just an initiative, just like an institution of happiness. We are trying to integrate these things into the curriculum, but before that, of course, it's the immediate environment a child is receiving just after he's born, right? So that also decides his biases, his ingrained, notions, thoughts, and ideas about the society. But at the same time, I don't know if you have observed this. I have 2 kids, right? So my younger one is 5 years. And I have observed that with my elder one also, even though they have learned a lot from us, they have learned many things which they might not learn from the outer society, but whenever they learn anything new from their teacher in the classroom, right, which might contradict with my learning to them, they will always listen to them more than they listen to me. I mean, please correct me if wrong. If you have not observed this, please let me know. Yeah? So, as a teacher, it's a very huge responsibility on you to actually help students to navigate their emotions. As parents, we are doing it. You are also working parents. As parents, we are doing our best. But, I mean, the most important part of the day is they're spending in their school environment, right? They're interacting with their teachers, peer groups, more than they're interacting with their parents today. So we have to talk in the present context. What was happening 20 years ago, we cannot go back and, change our theories and everything based on the past. We have to adjust our learning, we have to adjust our curriculum, we have to adjust our offerings according to today's context, and this is the reality. Students, children, they trust more, they trust their teachers more than they trust their parents, because parents might be wrong, but teachers can never be wrong. So this is something which we have to inculcate from the foundational years of their lives, which is a very difficult, challenging task, but it is possible. Right? There has been many things we have done in the past which was not looking very easy in the beginning, but we reached there. So same way, this is just an initiative, and I think with this initiative, we can reach the real target. So yeah, so this, yes. Okay, yeah, sure. All right, so now this is how we are trying to establish that the social emotional learning skills are actually leading to happiness. So again, starting with self, building healthy relationship with self, self-cultivation, which will release serotonin and dopamine. So when you calm yourself down, when you try to love yourself, when you're extending that compassion to yourself, this will automatically release these hormones, again, neuroscience and biology, and serotonin and dopamine are always, love hormones, happy hormones. Same, when we are able to establish that connection with self, we are able to build healthy relationships with others, relating to others, which releases oxytocin, impartiality, and common humanity. We'll practice a few things here in next few slides. Forgiveness and gratitude. You will be able to forgive others only if you're able to forgive yourself. It sounds easy that we forgive ourselves, but no. It stays in our head for many years. A single guilt, a single regret, we are not able to remove that from our heads. So what do we do? What do we do about it? And what do we do to actually not making as a barrier to build healthy relationships with others? And then the last, relating to the systems, building healthy relationships with nature, engaging with discernment, critical inquiry, and appreciating interdependence. Because human beings are not the only living beings on the planet. We have to appreciate what we are receiving from other species too. So this is something we try to teach or facilitate to our students, our youth, and there are similar courses, there are similar programs for school children also. Now, okay, so this is something, this is one very good analogy we give to our students, and I would also like to present it here. Imagine you're about to go on a fun weekend road trip. Yeah, we are all set, bags are packed, fuel tank is full, and the playlist, the song playlist is ready. This is what we always do. And there's some traffic, but you're not worried because you're in a bright, sunny, rainbow mood. Am I right? Okay, now you will be speeding through the highway soon. But after 30 minutes of your drive, you see smoke coming from car, bike engine, and you have to slow down. Now you will regret why you did not give the car for service last week. And to make things worse, the driver behind you starts honking, and you get angry. You know, one situation, one scenario is leading to so many other scenarios, which will ultimately take you to an angry mode, or upset mode, or the entire fun mood will be gone away. So this is how our minds and bodies are also functioning every day. How many times we check into our emotions in the morning? We fought with our partner, we had some argument with our boss, and we are taking it in our head for the entire day, which will reflect in your actions, in your behavior, with your kids, with your students in the classroom, everywhere. How can we deal with this? How can we address that we are not in the right mood? How can we just give those 2 minutes to ourselves to check in and to regulate, right? There are tangible tools for that, and I would like to give one example here. Now, before giving that example, can anybody tell me what is resilience? Bouncing back. Anybody? So that means, it's okay to not to feel okay, but we have to bounce back to feel good again, right? So this is called resilience. We are talking to teachers here, so everybody know. So this is the resilient zone, right? When we experience full range of emotions while staying balanced and controlled. We are calm, strong, and able to make best decisions. But it need not to be a happy place. What happens when it gets disrupted? Are we always in the resilient zone? We always feel stressful situation, thrown out of balance, and kicked out of a resilient zone, right? A traffic, a tough exam, an argument with a friend, anything can trigger us to kicked out of our resilient zone. And then this one trigger can either take us to the high zone, angry, aggressive, or to the low zone. Some trigger from past trauma incident comes to our mind and we feel low, nervous, low in energy. Now, this can be triggered by almost everything, but what can we do? So there's one tool we always give to our students, and I would also like teachers, maybe they can also use such tools in their own personal lives and in the classroom. One such tool is resourcing. Anybody has any idea about it? Has anybody heard about it before? Okay, so what is a resource? Something that gives us something, some object, something which provides us something with meaningful, outcome or something. Same way, resourcing is any person, place, thing, memory, or part of yourself that makes you feel calm, pleasant, peaceful, strong, or resilient. So it can be your small 3 or 4, 5 years kid smile. It can be your resource. It can be imagining yourself on the mountains where you cannot actually go right now, but you can actually elevate your mood by just imagining that if something is troubling from the outside environment. It can be somebody who likes to sing, imagining themselves singing on the stage. They could not do it because of other responsibilities. They can imagine. They can feel good about it. It can be any object. It can be a past conversation with your grandmother, grandfather, anything, which actually brings you joy. And it happens, we have been learning this from our parents, from our grandparents, that just to distract, right? Just to acknowledge and then try to do something which actually brings to ourselves, brings to our natural selves. This is resourcing. The only thing is that we received it from our parents, but unfortunately we are not able to give this to our children because we don't have time. Can we do it through education? Can we do it as, not as parents if through teachers, as teachers. So this is resourcing. And now, yes, it is possible to have more than one resource. A resource can be internal, external, as I told you, imagining or real. A resource is unique to each person, so you can choose any resource which makes you feel good, joyful. A resource can be real or imagined. And it works. We have trained over 80,000 students across the globe, and we have actually had done some surveys where we had seen some behavioral changes in students by following these tools. Because although they were aware, but they were not using it. So build your resource. So can we do it right now? Can you please all think about one resource and share with me if possible? Sir, what is one thing that actually makes you feel cool immediately?
Short holiday.
Sure. Okay, so even if you cannot hit the ground, you can think about it. Hit the road, sorry. Anybody else? Good friend. Talking to a good friend, right? Or some holiday, just like Sir said. Or maybe, shouting at your boss you don't like in your imagination because you cannot do in reality. Yeah. Yes, nice biryani. I love biryani. I can think about it, but yes. Okay,
Hello.
so, yeah.
A smile of my granddaughter.
Oh, that's so sweet, sir. So I will not go here. These are thinking traps. Sorry, because of the time constraints. I cannot take you through these because I'm looking at the, and activity also, I don't know, it will take time. But it's okay, no problem. Let me just come to the final thing. It's okay, we have to be mindful of the time also. So as a conclusion, we can understand only the development of compassion and understanding for others can bring us the tranquility and happiness we all seek. And it means only building healthy relationship, that's all. That can only be possible by extending care, love, compassion, and empathy. Yes? So now, I would like to end this session with one guided practice. And I invite you all, everybody in this room, including the team members, everybody from QS, to please be with me for next 2 minutes. Please make yourself comfortable. Close your eyes if possible. Relax on the chair. Just be yourself. Relax your body. Every muscle of your body should be relaxed. Whatever position makes you feel relaxed, please take up that position. Now, when you're relaxed, please visualize one person you're not very fond of. One person who had some rough time with you. You don't like that person, or maybe you want to like that person, but that's a difficult person in your life. Now visualize that person as vividly as possible, as if that person is sitting right next to you. Be comfortable. Keep visualizing that person. And repeat after each line I speak, just in your head. This person has a body and a mind, just like me. This person has feelings, thoughts, emotions, just like me. This person has in their life felt suffering, pain, just like me. This person has at some point in their lives been sad, disappointed, hurt, just like me. This person has felt unworthy, inadequate, just like me. This person is learning every day, just like me. This person wishes to be free from pain and all sufferings, just like me. This person longs for friendship, just like me. This person wishes to be happy, satisfied, just like me. This person wishes to be loved, just like me. Because this person is a fellow human being, just like me. Now, as we close this practice, you may please pay attention to your body sensations, some pleasant sensations you are feeling right now in your body. Stay with those sensations for a few seconds. And as we conclude, you may please pay a dedicatory wish for this person and come back to this space as you feel comfortable. Yeah, so any reflection, anybody would like to share how they felt before closing the session? Yes, ma'am. Rainbow, ma'am.
And how we can really practically use it for our children. We will have to convert all abstract words into concrete action.
Absolutely, ma'am.
That is what I feel.
Yeah, yeah.
And we should take this forward in a very good manner.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, so yes, sir.
Yes. So,
Yes, sir. It is easier?
Give. Because there are certain things which cannot be forgiven.
Yeah,
Some mistakes in life which people have caused you so much of pain,
yeah.
knowingly they're causing you pain for wrong reasons.
Yes.
Those cannot and should not be forgiven. That is one thing, but it can be forgotten.
Yes, sir.
You can subdue your memory by training your mind that you do not think about such nonsense things which have happened and you think about positive things.
Yes, sir.
So that is also one aspect I think which we may all
Yes, sir. That is also in our course, setting
Yeah.
boundaries,
Yeah.
learning from our mistakes, our experiences, and how to set the boundaries to extend self-compassion more
is-
than, forgiving
Yes,
to others.
yes. Another point I want to make is
Yeah.
between the happiness, today there is so much of emphasis on happiness that we tend to forget that children who were wanting to make happy, they got to achieve something in life also.
Absolutely.
They have to achieve their goals. They have to achieve their tasks. They have to have discipline in life if they want to gain something. Sometimes even if some amount of happiness got to be sacrificed to achieve those, that should be also be kept in mind.
Yes, sir.
That's
Actually,
all.
yes, that is how happiness is very subjective. I think the right definition of happiness, it varies from person to person. And along with that, they have to be mindful also whether their happiness is not harming others. So that should not define happiness. So I think, of course, that's why we are talking about institution of happiness. So we can set the right definitions, set the right skills, and set the right curriculum for us and for our children. Yes, sir.
good afternoon, ma'am, and good afternoon, everyone. It's more of an observation that the kind of meditation practice we have just done, now post-COVID especially, it has become quite popular in that sense that people, faculty members, teachers can download the scripts and then they can do these kind of meditation practices in the classroom. So I'm a professor of business communication per se. So once I was doing a blog writing exercise with my PGDM student who are very adult, and I asked them to close their eyes, and I wanted to have any kind of living experience which has been very profound, from which they have learned something, and then we will write a blog on that. So when I was just asking them to close their eyes and I was going through a kind of guided meditation, some of the students started crying, right? Because they had very profound experiences during COVID time, and they have a sense of loss also. So that day I realized that we should not be using these practices just by taking them from the internet, because they might have very profound
Absolutely,
experience
sir.
also. So in your courses and through these kind of mechanisms, we should create this awareness, and we should have a proper training before we do these kind of things. Because since mental health and well-being is in focus, and every faculty, be it engineering, mechanical engineering, or medical sciences, everybody tries to do these kind of things, but it requires a lot of training and caution also.
Yeah. Thank you so much for raising this, sir. This is very, very important. And also, which age group you are targeting. Everything has to be backed by science and evidence, what works from whom. So that is very, very important, sir. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry. I just want to make one critical observation. This is coming from UNESCO, right? And the most of what you have described today, the West needs it, not the East. And it has not, perhaps would not worked there. I'm wondering whether we should follow that. We have more, useful Indian models from the Indian knowledge systems. Maybe we should explore that. Thank
Sir,
you.
definitely, sir. So that's not something we should explore this or that. At the same time, we are also talking about global citizenship. So you see, you might not find connection directly with the curriculum of happiness, but it is definitely related to global citizenship, where every child is driving to become a global citizen, so that they are equipped with the right competencies, right terminology, and right definition to present themselves better in the globe, when they grow up. So I think that is also something very important, sir. Yeah. Yeah.
The theories developed in the last 40, 50 years in the West have started crumbling. So we should be careful in adopting to them in the name of the global citizenship. I think India is a way forward. That is what
Absolutely, sir. And something India has produced over decades of years, like nobody else, no other country can produce. So we are rich in heritage, culture, and values. Yes, sir. It's just that we have forgotten those values, and somehow we are not, transferring those values to our children. So this is just reviving, basically. This is reviving our past, nothing else. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay.